Greetings and welcome to this week's magical message. I pray that everyone has had a stupendous week already and that you all are prepared for even more magic. So, we're going to go ahead and get into the overview of this reading. And we're looking at the gift of connection and the Son of Coins for this week. So, the beautiful message with this is that we are going to be gaining a greater connection with divine timing. In doing this, we're going to be connecting with ourselves, most especially on a much deeper level, and really coming to a lot of clarity in terms of just the breakdown of our own energy and the way that we show up. And also there being an acceptance and allowing that takes hold. There's also going to be a lot of release of tension and feelings of pressure around who you are and how you move and what you do and how you do it. And that connection is going to be the fuel that's going to move you forward in a really powerful way. Okay, so with the beginning of the week, the energies that we were looking at are the web of mirrors and the grandchildren. So it's very possible that you felt in a lot of ways more inward, maybe emotionally and mentally, maybe looking at things that were on your plate or just having old things come up or things that have been causing stress come up. And the message here is that you are going to be more than fine. You're going to be great. And to release and allow for the release of that tension, even if you don't see how that's going to happen just yet. So this is the middle of the week. So by this time, you're going to be feeling a lot of that relief begin to take hold. But make sure that you are reflecting on the things that came up during the beginning of the week so that you can really do the work to heal those things that came from insecurities, that came from past trauma, that came from maybe even other people's energies, right? Because I feel like the energies are really high. And for those who are more sensitive, you can pick up on energies that are around you. So making sure that you're also releasing those energies. You're doing things, taking baths, being out in nature, doing whatever your spiritual practices are so that you can really ground into your own energy and you're not also trying to balance someone else's. Now, the middle of the week, we are looking at the Dancer, Water, and Eight of Sticks. This energy is saying that there is an overflow that's coming. And it feels like this is from work that has been done. This is from you standing a particular way within yourself, that integrity with self. And the trick this week is really going to be to allow. And sometimes that can be the hardest part because sometimes it's easier to do and to put things into action. But when we're asked to be still and to allow, especially when we're not sure how things are going to turn out, even if we feel pretty good about how they're going to turn out, it can cause some anxiety, it can cause some pressure, it can cause stress. So to really embrace the lighter side of these energies, make sure that you're taking the time to rest, to listen, and just be in a more intuitive space. But expect for things to really begin to pick up really, really quickly. We are experiencing a solar eclipse within the next few hours. So this energy is really going to kick off in a really strong way. And the best way for you to move through it is for you to just allow. We also have a retrograde coming up. So again, that energy of kind of allowing yourself to slow down so that you can allow. Right. And at the same time, what you're going to witness is that as you slow down, things begin to speed up. And this is going to be a really, really beautiful thing for those of us who have really been working towards the manifestation of something and also been holding integrity, most especially with ourselves. But this energy really brings a balancing. It brings rewards for hard work and standing even when people counted you out, even when people, for whatever reason, they didn't understand you, or they just didn't get what you were doing, right? Or why you were doing it, or just thought you were weird. Maybe they thought you were a little crazy, right? And so this energy is inviting you to embrace all of yourself and release all the things that take away or put down who you naturally are, who you divinely are, which goes back into that energy of really falling into just divine alignment with the universe's time, right? And that allowance and seeing the kind of magic that happens when that takes place. And most often that takes place when we are in a more hands-off kind of energy and listening, being still, so that the movements that we do make when it's time, they really, really count, right? And those movements are going to take you much further than you ever imagined. So kind of speaking into that overflow, that windfall, expect some things to be unexpected. Expect things to take you further than what you've even imagined them to take you. And just be ready, be excited, be in a grateful space, and allow your heart to be open, because the universe has some really beautiful blessings that are coming to us this week, and in the weeks to come, but it's initiated this during the middle of this week especially. So now we're going to end the week with the moon, Dreamer 5, Hope Discarded, and then 3 of Baskets. Now, there are 2 sides to this energy, and you'll know exactly where you are based on the energies that you feel at the end of the week. So again, we're working on that connection, and especially the connection with self. So towards the end of the week, you're going to feel on the lighter side. You're going to feel a very deep connection with everything around you. It will almost feel like you breathe in and you can feel all of the connections around you. You can feel connected to the earth. You can feel connected to the people and the heart spaces that are around you. You feel connected to yourself and your ancestors. And it's almost like every time you breathe in, you can feel the universe moving in tandem and in your favor. Okay. You're also going to be letting go of some dead ends. It feels like you are doing like some final cuts, some final edits. You're seeing some things for what they are, and it really doesn't feel like this is all that emotional. It feels like it's so clear that you just move on it. And so that is a really beautiful blessing. And then you also have the creation of new love, new relationships, new spaces that come from this. And on the shadow side, you are probably going to feel all over the place. You might feel very disconnected, and it may bring up feelings of anger and resentment. You may experience things that are more traumatizing, more pain inducing. And you may feel very worried about connections, relationships, and just in general, the space that you're in and where you're headed. You may feel very unsure about what that is. And so if you're feeling those energies, you know that there was a connection with self that was not made, right? There was an integrity with self that was not held. And so you can begin to do the work to kind of shift those energies within yourself if you notice that, right? Obviously, not everybody's going to notice that, but if you do notice it, it means that it's an opportunity for you to shift yourself into alignment. But this week is going to be very rewarding. And even in the letting go and the releasing, again, like I said, it doesn't feel very emotional. This feels like it is more of a mental thing that comes with clarity and very quick, very sure, and you're ready to move forward. Even if in the moment of letting go, maybe you feel a little bit of that, the release, right? But again, it feels like it's going to be very quick. And as soon as you do it, you're going to feel the more positive energies beginning to flood in. And so you'll be filled with things that feel very joyful, very satisfying, very fulfilling, and like you're finally being recognized by the things that are coming in, whether these are people, whether these are opportunities. But you're going to really feel yourself being held. And that's part of that really beautiful magic that the universe is really offering us in being in alignment with divine timing. When you're in that space, being willing to be still, being willing to surrender your need for control, things naturally and divinely flow to you, and they flow to you with love and in abundance. And this is following a week where we were receiving all the things that we needed. We were receiving manifestations of things that we have been working hard towards, and in some unexpected ways, right? And so with this week following, it's like, okay, now that you've received those things, now that you've gotten those things, begin to look around you, right? And look within yourself so that you can connect, right? Because there was something that was shown to you by the end of last week that is propelling you forward into this new energy of being willing to connect with yourself on a much deeper level. Now, this is also going to shift foundation. So this could be energies around moving or just a total switch, just in your mind, your emotions, your physical, your spiritual, a whole shift that in turn is going to turn your entire life and transform it really into something you have not even begun to imagine. And even something that you've yet to experience. So this week brings a lot of really beautiful magic. So make sure that you are in a space where you are allowing, you're taking the time to rest, because you're going to need it moving forward, not because you're going to be overworked and all of that. But even when amazing things happen, even when great things happen, we still have to have the energy within ourselves to hold that space and to move forward without feeling, some of the weight of even those wonderful and magical manifestations. So just make sure you're tuning into you. Make sure that you're getting in touch with whatever your spiritual practices are. You may even find this week that you get into some new spiritual practices. You may find that you begin to connect to things just in a different way. Your communication this week will probably shift as well. And in a more sure way. You're not going to be in a space where you're allowing certain things. You're going to be willing to say what it is and let it be that. You're going to be holding other people to their communication, and have they been in integrity? Have they moved in alignment, right, with who it is that they say they are and what it is that they speak? And it doesn't even feel like you're necessarily going to have to confront people. And you may find that you're confronting some people, but it feels like it's going to simply be in the energy, right? It's like the energies are just separating and pulling you all into completely and totally different worlds, right? If it's a situation, you are being completely and totally separated from the energy of that situation. And so your reality, as a result, transforms. Right? And that's just the beginning of some of the things that are being given birth to during this time. So again, be in gratitude. Make sure that you're connecting with yourself. Take time to be still and get quiet and rest your soul, your spirit, your body, your mind, your emotions, and trust that everything is not only happening on purpose and for a reason, but it's happening in much grander ways than your mind has even conceived of. And so that's part of why that allowance is so important during this time, because you're transforming into something you don't even recognize as even a possibility. And, so as we move out of this week, you're going to begin to see those things come into place. And it feels like they're going to come into place very quickly and in very solid ways, kind of mimicking the solid clarity that you're moving through this week with, as you are getting more connected and being more comfortable just being still and understanding what it is that you're doing during that time. I think sometimes the lack of understanding can make that stillness more difficult. So now that you're understanding why, now that you have the clarity, now that you know and you have made those cuts and those edits to the connections you have in your life, whether it be yourself, other people, situations, whatever, now you are ready for this grand transformation. So I hope you all are looking forward to it. I hope that you all are ready. I hope that you all are resting up. And I look forward to seeing how these things begin to fall into place, because I can already feel the beautiful magic that is taking place. And I know that you can too. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and close out this reading. I want to thank you for tuning in. Make sure that you like and subscribe, and we will get together again next week and talk about how these things are falling into place, and maybe celebrate a little bit for the things that we have that we've recognized. Thank you. Love you all. Good night.